Very often people ask about the first concert of a musician. I don't exactly remember. I remember as a kid they made me sing in different temples. I was always encouraged to sing in every shrine that I visited. In fact, if I went to a temple with my father, he wouldn't move to the next Sannidhi unless I sang a song. So I had to necessarily sing a song so that we could finish the temple visit and go home. So it all started like that. So my experience to sing in public places was more in temples. And slowly I was singing small temple concerts. And I remember I've sung with Mridangam and Sitar, Mridangam and Jalatarangam. We had a relative who played the Jalatarangam. So I've done all sorts of combinations even as a kid. Slowly, as I was evolving, I had to move out of Chennai for some time, and yes, after a break of about 6 years, I was singing again, and this time it was in the Tirunelveli belt. In the Tirunelveli belt, all concerts used to happen quite late in the night. So probably the concert will start at around 9:30, 10 and go up to 12:31. So we had to pack everything, and I had two young children, and the minute I start singing the concert, one of them will start crying, and then my mother and my husband, everybody would have to take care of them. I remember one concert in Nagarkoil. I started singing the concert and my son came running on stage. I thought he was going to come and sit in my lap, but he took a lollipop and went and sat in a sofa behind me, and throughout the concert he was sitting there chewing on his lollipop. And then he would also sometimes, I would have just begun the Varnam, and he will come close to the stage and he will say, Mangalam Padu, loud enough for everybody to hear. So it was like one experience singing these concerts with these children and traveling. But again, it was an amazing experience for me, because I could sit and learn compositions relevant to those particular kshetras. Like if we went to sing in Kalide Kuruchi, that was when I sat and learned Sri Lakshmi Varaham. It was like that, adapting to different places, singing according to the pasurams according, I remember Nanganeri, so I had to learn some pasurams. So it was a great learning experience. Again, the challenge at that point was for me to engage the audience and to sing the right kritis according to the kshetra and all that. Slowly, as I started singing more and more concerts, the whole thing evolved, and I started really enjoying the whole process of meeting Rasika, singing for them. I remember one concert. If you ask me whether it was all happy, I'll have to give you this one story about one concert in Palani. It was for Thaipusam. When they asked me for that concert, I was super excited. I said, wow, Thaipusam, Maniki Palani, I'm going to sing, and I prepared one entire list of all the Muruga kritis I knew, and I was super thrilled. When we reached the venue, we saw thousands of people there. They had all come in a Padayatra from different villages, carrying children on their shoulders, and it was a big Maidanam, and all these Padayatris were there in the Maidanam, and in small pockets they started cooking their own food, and there were balloon sellers, and there was this whistle seller, okay. You must have seen this whistle. When you blow, it goes like wank like that and it comes back. So he started blowing his whistle to make people buy, and already there were about 200 children probably who had that whistle in their hands. So everybody was wang, 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 it was going on. So in this setup, I started singing my kirtanas, and you can imagine, Mooladhara Murte Gajamukane, and then Sharavana Bhava Guru Guham Shanmukam Bhajeham Shri whatever I sang, the crowd was quite oblivious to it. They were in their own world. By the time I reached the third or the fourth song, I realized I was not going to be able to engage this particular audience. So I literally had tears in my eyes. I didn't know what am I going to do. And that is when all the folk melodies came to my rescue. சீர்வளர்ப்பசும் தோகை மகிழான் வள்ளி செவ்விதழிலாதினிய தெள்ள முதுமயிலான் போர் வளர்த்தடங்கையுருமயிலான் விமல பொன்னடிய இன்னலர உன்னுதல் செய்வாமே. Songs like that. புள்ளிக்கலாபமயில் பாகல் சக்தி புதல்வனான கனயோகன். All those kind of songs came to my rescue, and as soon as we started singing these folk melodies, there was some reaction in the crowd, and then they started listening to the concert. So that was a learning experience for me. Whereas sometimes when we are singing in a place like Chennai or Bangalore or Mysore or Coimbatore, Hyderabad, Delhi, Bombay, where you have learned rasikas, the challenge is different. We need to present something new, something engaging, and we need to also, they are intellectual listeners when it comes to Carnatic music, and therefore we have to offer something for that kind of listener also. So every time it is different. We went once to Riga, the capital of Latvia. We were invited for the Adliusm festival, and it was a completely European audience who knew nothing much about Carnatic music, and there was no communication because they spoke in a bit of Latvian and Russian, that kind of combination. So they just explained that this is going to be Carnatic music, but we sang a proper concert there. We sang Sri Dakshinamurti, we sang Keeravani and a Pallavi in Keeravani on Arunachala, and what we noticed was the rapt attention with which they listened to it, the open-mindedness with which they took in our music. In fact, some of them got up from their seats, came and sat down in Padmasana and heard the concert. It was a surreal moment for us to understand the power that our Indian classical music system held. A concert experience for a musician is something remarkable, and that it happens also because of the rasikas, the affection and the love we receive from rasikas. It is said that when Sri Madhuramani Iyer sang in Kapalishwara temple, if there were people who were listening to him so intently, the crowd wouldn't move. And if somebody wanted to go home and they asked a rickshaw puller, can you please take me home? I believe they used to say, சார் காம்போதி முடிச்சிட்டு இருக்காரு, இப்போ நோட்டீஸ்வரம் போடுவார், இப்போலாம் வர முடியாது மேடம், இதை முடிச்சிட்டு வேணா நான் வரேன் அப்படின்னு. That was the kind of reaction that these great musicians had from their rasikas. There are innumerable challenges that musician faces, especially if you're an vocal musician. Voice has to be in pristine form, and throughout the concert, it shouldn't dry up, the voice shouldn't dry up, and sometimes you might forget a line and you should just pray that the line comes back to you at the right time, or your accompanist knows it so that they can supply you with that line. There are some challenges you won't even imagine. There was this one person, very often our students play tambura for us, but outstation sometimes, there are some tambura people, and this tambura artist who had come to play for me that day, I guess he was also a musician in his own right maybe. So he would start singing all the compositions in a low voice in a different shruti the minute we start. So the additional challenge in such kacheri was to also try to understand what kritis this man may not know so that we can sing that composition. And finally I found a solution for that. Right in the beginning I would turn around and I would say, sir, you can join me for the Mangalam loud throated, no problem, but please don't sing till then. So the minute I finish the concert, I'm going to start the Mangalam, I'll turn back and I say, come on, let's sing together. And so there are different kinds of challenges that a musician faces. Sometimes our guru might be there in the audience. I remember many occasions where my gurus have blessed the concert and enjoyed it and appreciated. But there was one instance where Sri Sundaresh Mama had taught me, Yetuleka padu tuvo in Ahiri. And I was not confident that day, and I was supposed to sing it. It was part of my list that day, but I didn't sing it, and I sang the Mangalam, and he got really angry and he made a walkout. I remember that. Same way, there was this Rasika, great Rasika, somebody I can never forget for his affection, Jagannathan Mama. He always felt that for a composition like Saroja Dalanetri, the Neraval should be at Korivachina vari kellanu korkalosage birudugada. And he would get mad if we sang the Neraval at Samagana Vinodini. I remember he would take his Angavastram, he would do that, and he'll make a walkout, and he'll make sure you saw him. So Rasikas are of different kinds. Again, there were great Rasikas who were also critics, like K.S. Mahadevan sir. He used to call post-concert and give small insights. Like he would ask, Emma, nee rendavada varali paadiniye, ஆடியன்ஸ்க்கு வராளி எடுத்துக்கிற அளவுக்கு அதுக்குள்ளே மைண்ட் உள்ளே போயிடுதா கச்சேரியில், உனக்கும் வாய்ஸ் அதுக்குள்ளே ஃபர்மப் ஆகிடுதா, வராளி பாடத்துக்கு இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் நேரம் போக வேண்டாமா, he would ask. So, these are the things, the inputs from the different kinds of rasikas also help an artist evolve over the years. So, art being a very creative process, there are many obstacles, many challenges that we have to overcome. I'm sure every career has its own obstacles, and I'm sure many of you overcome all these obstacles to succeed in whatever you're doing. But learning, that is the most important thing. We should never stop learning, and learning is very, very important in the creative art as well. As a concert musician, every concert is a learning experience. It's an experience as much for you Rasikas as it is for us musicians. Leaving you with that thought for you to ponder about till I meet you again in the next episode. Musically yours.